Diksha from PY, and we recently did a research paper, and I would like to just talk to you about it. So I thought I'll just start by talking about what we did in the paper first. So the subfield of physics that we explored is called the holographic universe model. So what we did in this basically is that in this theory we believe that the entire universe is just a hologram. Like suppose say you go to a movie theater, there is a 3D projection of information that is encoded on 2D films. In holographic universe model, we kind of believe that our entire universe is just information on a 2D surface that we see projected in 3D. So it's like a film being shown on the biggest canvas that is the universe. And not just you and me, but everything that you see is just a projection. So, like every time that I stop to think about this possibility being our truth, that maybe we are just information encoded on a 2D surface, it just blows my mind. And I think that is one of the main reasons why I chose this subject to be my area of research. So, personally, I feel that research is a very passion driven field because you need to really believe in what you're researching, and you need to really understand that it's something which excites and tends to your natural curiosity, so it can be a very fulfilling career option, I feel. And the joy of discovery is just something which gives you an adrenaline rush unlike any other that you have ever experienced. And I started noticing this in FY actually. So when I was in Pranal sir's class, so the PCM students might know this. So in the real analysis lectures, Pranal sir would give us conjectures and would ask us to prove them. Like, he would be like, imagine that this is an unsolved problem that no one has been able to find a solution of, and think how you would go about proving it. Initially, it was like we would get a bit tired because it was like 2 3 lectures would be spent in just doing one conjecture. But then as our minds got very conditioned to think about it, we started realizing that, oh, this is actually fun. Like, when you feel so satisfied when you can actually see a conjecture and derive a proper theoretical proof for it. So, as in when our minds got conditioned to think, it became one of my favorite things to do. And I realized that proving a conjecture or coming up with one was just my favorite thing to do. Then in SY, as you don't know this yet because you're all FYs, but in SY we have a research component included in our practicum where you have to do a research project under the mentorship of one of the teachers of the department. So we did this really fun project with Manisha ma'am about crystals. So what we did was her colleague had grown some new crystal, and we were told to, check the properties of it, like see its dielectric constant, then see if it was a good conductor or a bad conductor, all that kind of stuff. And as someone who very naturally gravitates towards theoretical research, it felt like a very tangible link. The experimental research felt like a very tangible thing from what you study in the classroom to what you are doing. Because for years we have been studying about dielectric constant conductors, but to actually see that happening felt like a very satisfying and tangible link to it. So I knew that this just opened up a wide array of possibilities and things that we could be done. But I still had a very, very basic question in my head that was just, I just couldn't stop thinking about it. And some of you might find this very laughable, but I wasn't really clear on what physicists did. Like, as most of you here who maybe are interested in physics or maybe interested in some of the other sciences, I knew I liked it, but I didn't really know what research was like. How did a day in the life of a physicist look like? I was not really clear on that. So I thought that committing to a career in research felt like a pretty big step, and I was like, I want to make sure I know what I'm getting myself into. So I decided that I would write to some of the scientists whose work I admired. And after a lot of days in contemplation and continuous struggle between should I not, what to be done, I just decided to go for it. And then I wrote to some of the scientists whose work I really admired. To be honest, I never really expected a reply because these were people with important careers and busy lives. So I never thought that any of them would reply to me. But I was very, very surprised to see a very warm response from almost all of them. I think part of this feeling came because we envision scientists as someone who's scary, who's intimidating, whom you might be who might be difficult to approach to. But as soon as I met with them, I realized these are just like really friendly people who just are very, very passionate about what they do. And I really enjoyed meeting with some of them. I discussed things with them, like, what, how does a career in physics look like, and they just patiently answered all the questions that I had. So after that, Professor Minwala, with whom I conducted this research project, he offered to mentor me on this project that he was working. And then after, I accepted it because obviously I knew that I couldn't understand what this was like until I worked on a project. So I immediately accepted. In that moment, a minute, I was like not sure whether I would like be able to juggle it with college. But in that moment, I was just like, "Jo hoga dekha jayega. Let's just do this right now." And this is just, if it gets too much, I'll quit. But let's try for now. And then this happened in October 2019. So we were still in regular college at the time. I think I was in my third semester in SY. So after that happened, we used to get done with lectures at around 3, and then I would just immediately rush out, grab a snack, take the bus, go to Navy Nagar, and reach TIFR, where we would have discussions. So basically, a research project starts with reading up all the literature that is there on what your project is. So basically, we would just like, there would be paper printouts everywhere of the papers that those people felt relevant. So in our team, we had two postdocs, one PhD student, and Sir, who is a professor at TIFR. So that was the team, and we would just sit and read those papers, have discussions, and like see if this was relevant to what we were doing. So what we were actually doing in the project is that we were trying to find a link between a conjecture called as CRG, which is classical Regge growth conjecture, and another which is chaos bound. So chaos bound has been proven, and we have a very correct like theoretical proof for it, but we don't have a proof for CRG. And people have been stuck on it for decades, or like trying to find a theoretical proof. We have observed that it is true, but we yet, as of yet, don't have a theoretical proof of it. So what we decided to do was that we would find a link between chaos bound. So like if you violate chaos bound, you violate CRG. So that's kind of like an indirect proof to CRG. So that was what we were doing with the project. So first we were reading up on all the terminology, all the algebra of it, like how does chaos bound operate, how does CRG operate, what is the link between them. Then there was a tough part about trying to, familiarize myself with the terms, because this is not what you study. This physics was very different from what we study in university level, at like undergrad level. There were so many terms that were like completely foreign to me that I didn't know anything. To be honest, I told this to my mother that when I was working on this project, that this sounds like English, but it isn't English. It's a completely different language. I don't understand any of it. And so I would just then go back to my hostel and sit and write all the doubts that I had. And then I would approach one of the PhD or the postdoc students, and I would be like, answer these. And they would just sit in the canteen and patiently explain to me every single thing. And like after 3-4 months, I kind of got used to what the terms were like and how, how everything was connected. Though I wouldn't say that I understood everything, maybe 20-30%. But yeah, that was the beginning of it. And then when the pandemic hit, I was just very crushed, because I knew that this would mean the end of it. Because I love TIFR. Like TIFR was not an unfamiliar place. I had attended many public lectures held there in FY. And I would just like to say this to the FYs. Like when you are back in Mumbai, when everything normalizes, I would definitely recommend going to attend those public lectures. They are amazing, and the scientists that they have there are really, really great people. We had some Nobel Prize winners as well. So yeah, so TFR is a beautiful place, and then if I was just crushed that I wouldn't be able to go there anymore. But then Shira sir was like, "No worries, technology is great. Let's just continue this via Zoom." And since it's a theory research, we don't really need the lab. So we continued via Zoom, and then 15 months later, we came up with something that was a tangible research paper, and it was a big journey, and it would get tedious at times. There were times when I had like practicals and my meetings at the same time. They would clash, and then I didn't know what to do. Then I would attend them from two devices, all that sort of stuff. But in the end, the joy of making an actual contribution just superseded everything else. And so I would just like to say that research is not all flowers, but the joy you get at the end of it when you have something very tangible in your hands is is far bigger than any of the troubles that you ever have. So that was about my project. Now I would like to talk to you about some research opportunities that you can pursue. So, as for formal opportunities, there are great summer schools conducted by these institutions. We have ICTP from Bangalore, we have TFR, we have the ICERS. They conduct amazing summer schools, and you can just apply to them, and they will just that will lead you on a. They will have a great research project for 3 4 months, and you will just really enjoy it. If you want to try informally, you can to start by reading some research papers. I would say that as undergrads, the first thing that you should start is by reading up on, like, start by narrowing down what you like. So you can't say that I like physics. It's a very vast field. Start by narrowing down if you like theory, if you like experiments. Then if you like quantum mechanics, or if you're more inclined towards string theory or condensed matter, just start it by narrowing down what you like. This applies to not just physics, but even life science, botany, any of those. Just start by narrowing down what you really like. And after you start that, try reading some research papers. And don't worry, I know those papers come off as really intimidating. And when I read my first research paper, I understood like 3 words of it, which were a, an, and the. So I didn't really understand anything at all. So, but it's okay. With practice, you will know. And there are some great authors who have like simplified these concepts so that you understand. Now, the holographic universe model that I was talking to you about, there is an author called Brian Greene, and he has written a book called Hidden Reality. Now, Hidden Reality is a great book which will explain all these concepts in a very simplified manner. So if you read upon that, familiarize yourself with the concepts, then the research papers might feel a bit easier to read and not as intimidating as they sound like. So that is the first thing you can do. And then after you start reading on research papers, you can informally write mails to scientists that you admire, whose work you admire, and ask them if they would give you any guidance or if they would, take you on for a project. And most of them, even if they are very busy and even if they don't have a project for you, they can guide you towards people who might, or they can just give you a guidance on what you can do on your own. I feel a career in academia involves a lot of learning and being open to learning a lot of new things. So it is also developing a very curious and a very questioning mind is absolutely essential to this job. Like when you, even if you start to think about why is the sky blue, that can lead to a very breakthrough in science. Like, as you all know now why the sky is blue, but someone did ask that question and that led to us understanding why it is. So I feel that is one of the most important things in research. Oftentimes in this project, I realized that it's oftentimes more important to ask the right question instead of trying to find the right answer. Like, obviously you have to find the answer, but asking the question is much more important, because once you know what you're looking for, it's easier to look for it. And I will say that it does take a lot of effort and determination. And there are times when you might feel like you just want to quit, or you reach a place where there is seemingly no possible solution to this, but your scientific rigor and your determination will just get you through that phase. And if there's one thing that I have learned is that if it comes easy, it's not worth it. So if you have to work hard for it, if you put in a lot of efforts for it, then that makes it worth it. So that is one thing that I would like to say. Also, as someone who has barely even started her research career, I would say having a good mentor is very, very important. So, as some of the very senior scientists at TIFR put it, they said that the more years you put into your research career, lesser is the need for mentorship. Now, undergrads like us need a lot of, just someone to hold our hand and patiently explain everything. So our need for mentorship is very high. We cannot just sit and be like, oh, today I'm going to write a research paper. I mean, you can do that. It's not like you can't, but if you want to publish or if you want your research paper to hold value, it is better to have a mentor, because most of these publishing journals do allow self-publishing. But then there are some unwritten rules that you can only learn through experience. So I would suggest that your first thing that you should do is find a good mentor who will, take you through this process very patiently. As for the basic question that I had, which motivated me to go to TIFR, is that how does a day in the life of a physicist look like? So it's pretty much like a normal office job, excepting the occasional, very often epiphanies they have in the middle of the night. And they just suddenly get an idea, get all excited about it, and start writing notes at 3 a.m. But other than that, it's a pretty regular office job. You have to read up a lot and you have to be very up to date with your area of focus. Like a scientist that I met told me that his day started, like when he comes into the office, he has to sit and there is a subscription list of all the journal of the all the articles and research papers that have been published that day. And he has to see through them. There are maybe like 10 or 15 articles that are very relevant to his, and 3 4 on what he's like currently researching, and then he has to sit and study those, like what are the new developments made. So that's how their day begins. Then you have to mentor PhD postdoc students and help them. They help you with your project, and you have to also like guide them as to how they can write their thesis. And another thing that they have to do is attend international conferences all over the world, so that they can, come back with fresh ideas and thoughts there, so that they can, which will tangibly convert into research papers over the year. So that's, yeah, being a scientist involves a lot of traveling and going to different conferences, talking about your work, discussing with your colleagues, having many international relations. And it's one thing that I have learned is that it's collaboration over competition. Like scientists are not in competition with one another that let me prove this first. No, I will prove this. It's not like that. It's that they each want to help each other to, take science further, which I think is a very great attitude in the field. And I also feel that science can get tough at times, but all these people that help you, that are there with you, if you have a lot of people working there, it can usually help, because a lot of different people, they bring different perspectives to the table. So if something that one person cannot see through his perspective, the other person usually can find a solution through it. So it's usually rare to see just one author on a paper. You'll see like 5 or 6 authors, because it's a team effort, not individual persons. And lastly, I would like to conclude just by saying that to anyone who is not sure whether this is the right field for them or whether they are meant for the hard sciences, I would say give it a go. I mean, as undergrads, we have a plethora of opportunities open before us. And I think you can just try and give research a go. It might awaken a dormant passion inside you. It might excite you to a level that maybe you might even not comprehend. And it can also make you feel alive from inside, as an extremely confused 19-year-old who was in her SY, who literally didn't understand everything. Giving it a go was the best decision I ever made. And now I feel very, very confident about pursuing this as my career and aspiring to be a theoretical physicist. I think I can do it. Like, I have that confidence. I mean, I don't know if I can, but I think I can. And I know that I like it. So it might take some, looking deep within yourself. introspecting and searching for it. But the thing that excites you is out there. You just have to look for it. Thank you.